If you've been reading the news this year, we will blame you for being curled in fetal position by the end of 2017. Too often, the news is like a twisted game of would you rather, where you're suddenly confronted with thoughts of ISIS, nuclear missile strikes or rare pandemics within 5 minutes of waking up. It's little wonder that your most common Facebook reactions to Australian news this year were sad and angry. They say history tends towards progress, but it can be hard to keep sight of this when we bear witness to violence and misery through a device that most of us carry 24/7. So to balance the doom and gloom, here are 12 good news stories you probably missed in 2017. Scroll down to read them all or jump ahead by clicking on the headlines that interest you. Turning back the clock on our bodies is most people's dream. We could be a step closer with a breakthrough discovery from University of Exeter researchers, who've rejuvenated old cells so they look and behave like young cells again, within hours. They've done this by applying chemicals based on a substance in red wine, dark chocolate, red grapes and blueberries. Flying cars could be more than a cliched dream for the future thanks to a new partnership between NASA and Uber to develop Uber Elevate. In the not too distant future, you could order an Uber AI aircraft via an app and cut your commute time drastically, for the same price as a standard UberX ride, according to the company. Uber plans to test 4-passenger flying taxis in Los Angeles and Dallas by 2020, with the hope of launching the service commercially in time for Los 2028 Olympics. Initially, the aircraft will have pilots with a view to automating them in future, much like Uber's development of driverless cars. They will take off from a network of vertiports built on existing car parks and helipads as well as from unused roadside land. However, Uber's ambitious timeline has left some skeptical, with Deloitte saying the service is unlikely to be operational before 2050, and Forbes saying the schedule seems impossible. As the war against ISIS rages on, Muslim hackers are staging resistance online and documenting their efforts with the hashtags #ISIS and #ISIS. On November the 17th, a coalition of hackers took down several ISIS-associated websites and continued to mount attacks on the terrorist group's news agency, Amaq. In April, hackers installed a virus on the propaganda site that allowed them to activate visitors' cameras, log their keystrokes, steal files, read phone messages, take screenshots, detect locations and collect contacts. Hackers also created a fake version of Amaq's Android mobile app to track extremists. The hacktivist group Di5S3NC0N claims to have also infiltrated several ISIS channels on the encrypted messaging app Telegram, which has become ISIS's platform of choice following crackdowns on Twitter. Micro warns that while hackers are aggravating ISIS, it's a case of whack-a-mole, with new sites popping up to replace disabled platforms. Rats are protecting elephants on their migration routes across southern Africa, sniffing out landmines that they are too small to trigger. The rats are deployed by Belgian charity Apopo, who have been tasked by the Zimbabwean government with clearing landmines inside the largest conservation area in the world, the Great Limpopo Trasfrodia Park.